Parental control. Today we're talking about a tool to help us manage the internet access in our homes. If we take advantage of this built-in feature on our home routers, we can set an internet access rule for each device and then forget about it. In this video, we are using a Telus router, but the interface for many of these home routers are all very similar. The first thing that we need to do is to open up our browser and input the IP address of our router. Now, if we do not know the IP address of our router, it's very easily spotted on a label at the side of the device. This is a picture of my router. I can just zoom in and you can see that the IP address is mentioned here, and this is the administrative credentials to the router. And you need that in order to make any changes to the router. Of course, when you deploy your router, you make sure that you change your password or even username. Okay, so I'm just going to log in. Once we are logged in, the first thing that we need to do is to go to this advanced setup, confirm the fact that we are advanced users, and then we will go to the parental controls page. The first thing that we need to do in the parental controls page, we need to enable that function. Mine is already enabled. Next, we need to decide whether we would like to configure the allowable times and allowable websites, or we would like to configure the disallowed time and disallowed websites. I usually use the first one. Next, you will see a very long list of all the devices that have ever connected to our router. Many of these devices are no longer on our network, but they leave their signature anyhow. They are identified by their MAC address or hardware address. This address cannot be changed. It is embedded in the motherboard of the device. For example, phones, PCs, or tablets all have MAC addresses. And this is where we can put a friendly name to identify the device for later use. If we want to set a device rule, what we need to do is to match the hardware address to that device. To identify the hardware address of a device, we need to go to the settings page of that device. Now, this is my phone, it's an Android phone. I can show you, I can go to the settings page on any Android phone, and there is an entry for an about phone. You click on that one. Then we will have the hardware information. We can click on that one, and then the MAC address information is going to be there. So as you can see, that's a B4 F1DA, and this is a B4 F1DA. So this is how I can identify which device is listed here. Once we have identified the device, we can set the rules for it. To do so, I just click on the set device rule. Unfortunately, it doesn't jump to the right portion of the page. We have to scroll down, and in here you will see that same hardware address is loaded, and it is now ready to accept a rule for that device. I usually do not mess with the web pages because we are in an allowable mode right now. If we put a website address in here, that would be the only website address that it can go on. If I wanted to disallow certain web pages for a particular device, I would just use the restrict URL accesses. But right now we are just doing the allowable one. I can set a time limit, for example, let's say 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I can do it on every day or on a bunch of options that I have in here. School days, weekends, or any particular days of the week. If I say Tuesdays, for example, and I say apply, it confirms the fact that it has been accepted. It adds the rule to the bottom of the rules list that I have here. And you can see this is the hardware address. It can go to any web page from 10 to 11 a.m. on Tuesdays every week and no other time. So if I want to make any changes to this, I would have to remove this rule, and it confirms it again. And I can go back and set another rule. Another thing that you can do is you can have multiple rules for a device as long as they are not interfering with each other. You can have different rules associated with the same hardware. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.